Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today we are taking a look at episode 11 of the 2 EP review, where we are looking at Spiritbox, The Fear of Fear, and Throne, Extended Pain. So originally this was supposed to have been Throne, Look at Me, but in preparing to listen to that EP, which I thought it was, it turns out it's actually just singles off of their full-length album that just dropped, so I thought it would be best to not do that, do their actual EP, and then in time just go and do the full album in one experience, instead of doing the singles, then the album, and having to listen to the singles and just go, I'll go and see X video. So I've changed it up a little bit. Also, on the same topic, I had another Throne EP ready for episode 12, and that turned out to be the same EP with a different cover and the same songs and stuff like that. So it was a bit annoying and a bit confusing, but episode 12 has had a slight change up to the running order as well. But with this, like I said, the first one we're looking at is Spiritbox's newest EP, The Fear of Fear. So, according to my research, the EP is a concept album told in 6 parts. In a live chat that the singer Courtney LaPlante was in, she described the overall story of the EP as it being about someone who becomes self-aware to the futility of their existence, and then each time they are given this gift of rebirth or an alternative timeline / existence that their soul must go through. Each time, even if they aren't aware at the beginning, throughout each song, they struggle to overcome their doom or their impending fate, depending on if you're looking at it positively or negatively. Each time the narrator doesn't overcome their demise, their life ends. They start anew in a new timeline, and they do the same thing over and over and over again. And by the end, Ultraviolet is the acceptance phase of the whole thing. The person accepting their fate is predetermined and cannot be changed, and that they are both mourning and celebrating that fact. So it's an interesting one. It's like one of those movies that, you know, they live, die, repeat, and they've got to try and like solve it, but in a musical format, which is an interesting one. So with that being said, we'll go straight on to the first song, which is Cellar Door, which is 4 minutes and 43 seconds long. We kick off straight away with a heavy track. It's a face punch, really doesn't let up throughout. Courtney's heavier vocals at points have this like slow, almost doom-like delivery. For certain verses, certain words, she slows down the delivery of them. Her vocals seem a little bit more clean compared to Eternal Blue, which, when I say that, I'm not saying that Eternal Blue had bad production or bad vocals by any means of the stretch. I'm just saying, like, her heavier vocals, it sounds like she's still been working on them, and at points, like, you can understand what is being said, you can kind of pick up on everything, and it just sounded much crisper, much cleaner, much more controlled. Because there were some points in their earlier Spiritbox material where the vocals would occasionally get raspy, or they would have to do like a clean chorus and then go back to like the heavier vocals, whereas this was heavier vocals throughout, and it sounded like pretty good, just with different techniques here and there to impact the delivery of the lines, like the doomy slowed down, like cut up words and stuff like that. It's a very good song. Really enjoyed it. Track 2 is Jaded. This is about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We move over seamlessly, like it just completely moves straight on to the next song. And this one was one of the singles actually off of this EP. It's the only one I'd heard going into it. And we get Courtney's clean vocals welcoming us with screams sprinkled in here and there just for a little bit of emphasis and effect. The chorus is really smooth, really catchy. It's just kind of like vintage Eternal Blues, Spiritbox, not production, but like layout of how the song goes, like clean with like the heavier like backing bits and stuff like that, and the like catchy choruses, and it's like that dialed up to like 10 or 11, whatever you want to say. It's a full-blown banger, really. So from there we go on to track 3, which is called Too Close Too Late. Again, another longer one. It's about 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. We start with more cleans and an almost like anthemic, maybe ballady sort of vibe to it. I'm not quite sure on the differences or which it more falls into, but that's the sort of vibes I got with the delivery and the like way that it was put together. The chorus is great. I really like the drum work here. This is where like from here on in is where like the drums and stuff really started standing out as well, because like the first 2 songs were like really easy just to like focus on Courtney, whereas the rest of the band kind of get a bit more shine from 3 onwards. But the drums have always been a very strong point for Spiritbox, as well as their guitar work is normally phenomenal. They normally, as a band on the whole, are a very well put together machine. So from that, like I said, we go on to track 4, which is called Angel Eyes. This is about 3.5 minutes. So here we go back to a heavier sound with a quicker pace. The musicianship is really solid again. The drums stand out really well. Again, it's just another banger. There's not a lot to say other than it's really enjoyable. I didn't delve too much into the lyrics of this because of the concept and how convoluted it sounded, but when you go and look through all of the songs, one common thread is a lot of talk about crimson key and trying to get a crimson key. So that is something I did notice when I was, because I have the the lyrics up on my tablet, because I use Amazon Music. So it was like going through it and you could see like all the crimson key talk and things. So I'm assuming that was part of the narrative, probably part of what they're trying to get to, you know, combat their fate, maybe. I'm not quite sure. So from there we move on to track 5, which is called The Void. This is about 3 minutes and 39 seconds. This is another clean start with a blistering drum behind it. It again has a pace that quickens up a bit, but not too quick, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't feel rushed, but it's also kind of like left long enough to sit. It's just very well crafted. I know that wasn't the best explanation, but I can't think of any other way to say it, honestly. And then we move on to track 6, the final one, the acceptance phase, if you will. This is about 4 minutes and 8 seconds, and this is a slow build into slower, clean vocals, everything feeling very minimalistic to a point, until the chorus where it all picks up, and it's just this interesting dynamic between everything, crafting a very, very good ending to what has been an extremely solid EP. So from there we move on to the second EP, which is Extended Pain by Throne. Throne are kind of like a hardcore metalcore sort of vibe. Not fully sure where they're from. That'll be more in the album side of things, where I go a bit into their like lineup, where they're from, this, that, and the other, as people will know by now if they've watched the content. So here we have track 1, which is called Grey Out. It is 2 minutes on the dot. It's a solid drum and guitar beat that welcomes us before the vocals kick in. As I said, with like a hardcore metalcore hybrid vibe. It's a banger. It's heavy. It's gritty. It's in your face. It's ignorant. It's an easy one to like listen to if you like that sort of like hardcore with like more metalcore influences. Moving on, we have track 2, which is called Fast Forward. This is literally 1 minute and 59 seconds. The instrumental again goes very hard here. The vocals are kick-ass and would definitely give people that, you know, stank face when a song slaps, if you know what I mean. It's a very quick song, very short. It could have done with a little bit more for me, because I was enjoying the song, and by the time I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like headbanging, I'm getting into the zone, and then the song ends and I'm like, fuck. But it's good. The one thing you'll notice with Throne, if you listen to them, is some of their songs are quite short, but they manage to pack a lot into that like 1 minute, 2 minute space. They're very good at doing that. Moving on, we have track 3, New Low, which is 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and I believe this is the longest track on the EP. This comes in with a relatable line, like, how could I trust myself when I've never been right about anything, and I'm always hanging by a thread, feeling so fucking inadequate. That's just an example of one of a few solid lines in this track. The drum work is great. The guitar work is excellent. You pair that with the vocal delivery too, and the rest of the production, the mixing and everything. This is just a banger certified. From there we move on to track 4, which is Dwell, which is 1 minute and 46. And this one here, pedal to the metal from the start. Blistering pace, packing a lot into a short runtime again. Like I said, that's something they're very good at. It's heavy, it's, you know, in your face. The drum work is good, the guitar work is good, the vocals are delivered excellently. Really enjoyed it. And from there we move on to the final track, actually, which is track 5, Parasite, 2 minutes and 33 seconds, the second longest track on the album and the final one, album EP, sorry. This keeps up the solid aggressive vibes that we've been feeling throughout. The start is a solid drum showcase. The vocals again really kick in and they're just awesome here. The guitar work is really sick too, and this song also has some more really standout lines, like, what goes around comes around, you get rid of parasites when they're found, motherfucker. And that's how they end the song. So that's a very dope touch, very cool line. So with that being said, what are my orders? So normally I do like a top 4 for every like EPs and stuff, but you know, there's only 6 and 5 songs, so I just thought, instead of just picking 4 and leaving them out like 2 songs or like 3 songs, because it'd be 2 from one and 1 from the other, I would just order them from my favorite to my least favorite. But with this here, my least favorite is still one that I really fucking enjoy. So Spiritbox, Fear of Fear, track 1, or like my favorite track, Jaded. Then It's Too Close Too Late, then Cellar Door, The Void, Ultraviolet, and Angel Eyes is actually my least favorite, even though I really enjoyed it. With Throne, my favorite is Parasite. Then we go to Grey Out, New Low, Dwell, with Fast Forward being my least favorite. But again, just because it's my least favorite, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I just found that some of the other ones that lingered a bit longer, that were a little bit more over that like 2 minute mark, were my more preferred tracks. I could get a bit more enjoyment out of them, a bit more, you know, time to vibe with the band's composition. So that's the only reason some of them were put lower than others. So with that being said, that is this video done. I will see you guys in the next video, which will be an album review of Yelawolf's War Stories. Now, with that being said, that album is excruciatingly long. So, depending on how it goes, you'll see me on the phone here. I'm just trying to find the actual album a second. Depending on how this goes, this album might go one or two ways. It might either be an extremely fucking long album review, and I'll have to run the risk of people not watching it because it's really long. Not that many people watch these anyway, but you know, this is a hobby. This is just for the sake of enjoyment, and if anyone gets any little bit of enjoyment out of these little videos, then I've done something worthwhile, you know, fuck it. But the other option is I could split it up into two videos. So I'd probably like listen to it all in one go, write the script all in one go like I normally do. I'd work out a halfway point on the album, record that halfway point as a one video, and then I would upload that, and maybe then instead of waiting a week or 2 weeks, whatever my upload schedule is, for the second part and like shifting stuff, I could put that out on the Saturday, or like schedule that to go out on the Saturday, so like we have a video on Friday and Saturday. Or I could just split it up and then wait for my next album review, which I don't have anything listed for, and then do Yelawolf War Stories Part 2. So there's a couple options. I will see how I'm feeling in the moment, but I'm just waiting for this to load so I can kind of explain what I'm... the reason why I'm thinking this. But Amazon Music is taking its sweet time. I believe, I could be wrong, the album is like 25 songs long. Don't know why the fuck it's not. I've heard a couple of them, and from the singles or like the couple songs I've heard in my playlist so far, it's not as good as previous Yelawolf stuff. So that's another reason why I'm kind of like, do I want to sit through all this in one go? Okay, Amazon Music is just being a fuck. I'll Google it instead. I do apologise, I just dropped you guys on the floor. That was not intentional. Yelawolf War Story. Here we go. Yelawolf War Story. So it is a succulent 25? Yeah, I think it's about 25 songs long. It's certainly one of his longer songs, longer albums, and most of them are in the 3 to 4 minute range of like how long they run for. It's fucking insane. Yeah, 25 exactly, actually. So that was a good guess because I wasn't sure. And only like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have features on. Because Jelly Roll, Struggle Jennings, people like that feature on some of the songs. So it's going to be a long one. So we'll see how I decide to go about that. But keep your eyes peeled for that coming in the pipeline soon. And with that being said, the only thing left to say is remember to stay safe out there, my friends. Okay, goodbye.